Brian, good to see you, my friend. We also have just noticed over at Gem State Chronicle your big headline this morning. Let's throw that up. Um, what happened?
Yeah, so the deadline for signing or vetoing House Bill 93, the school choice tax credit, was at 11:46 a.m. Mountain Time this morning. So that's right now, actually, exactly right now. We were all watching to see what would happen, and as I was working here at the Capitol, I saw a press release come in from the governor. He had signed it, and I was figuring it was going to go one way or the other. I didn't think he would veto it. I figured he'd either just kind of quietly let it become law without signing, or he'd issue a big press release and make a big deal of it, which is what he's done. And it's the smart thing to do because President Trump came out in favor of it a couple weeks ago. A majority of Idahoans have supported it. Uh, so um, he did the press conference, and good for him. Also, if you read the press conference, notice that he's tying it in with the launch grant, and he's tying them together as education freedom from kindergarten through their career. Agree or disagree, it's a savvy political move. But either way, I'm personally happy that the bill is signed, and we'll now see what school choice looks like here in Idaho.
Yeah, now and just to refresh everybody on what this bill actually does, this would allow for an up to $5,000 tax refundable tax credit for every student in your household that you claim is being educated outside of the public school system. So, in order to claim this credit, Brian, what do parents have to do in order to show how much money they're spending on their child's education?
So, as I understand it, you apply early in the year to see if you're going to be eligible for it because it's a $50 million cap. So, it's first come, first serve with priority toward lower income families. And then they'll tell you if you're eligible, and then make sure to keep your receipts if you're just paying for tutoring or paying into like a micro school or paying for curricula. Keep those receipts. If you're sending your children to a private school, then keep those receipts. And then when you go to file your taxes, you just write down exactly how much you spent on it, and basically itemize them up to $5,000 per eligible student, and then submit it as part of your tax return, and you'll get a tax rebate refund, just like the grocery tax credit, essentially.
Right. Now, when you write down the amount, are we scanning our receipt? Are we submitting the name of the school where our child goes, or what program that they were a part of? I mean, do we have those kind of details yet, or are those sort of rules that will come into play afterwards, or are they part of the bill?
I don't know anything specifically in the bill about the process of actually writing it down on your tax return. It could just be amounts. It could be amounts with, say, this is tutoring or this is private school, or it could say which private school. I wouldn't think it would be that detailed, just based on what I've heard from people talking about it, the sponsors and the people involved in drafting. But again, we'll see. It's going to be run entirely by the tax commission. So the Department of Education, Board of Education are not going to be involved in this. So it's all, all the regulation of this is really just on the tax side. It's not, they're not going to be trying to decide how you educate children, or making any determinations there.
Okay. And then final question here. When does it go into effect? Usually these bills have a July 1st effective date, which means if that were to happen, then I mean, it could take place at any point, because if you're outside of the public school system, even though that's quote summertime, summer vacation, there might be schools that if you're homeschooling or whatever, that happens all year round.
Actually, this bill is retroactively in force as of January 1st of this year. So with the governor signing it, it is now the law of the land. It's in effect. And when people can start actually applying for that, I'm not sure. I would watch for news coming from the tax commission website.
Well, look at that. Retroactive. So if you've got it, so it goes back to this year. So it's seemingly at the end of the year when you're filing your taxes for 2025 in 26,
Right.
you may be able to claim the education expenses that you have outside of the public school system here. Yeah, this is incredible news. I mean, it's come a long way. Is this the most perfect bill? Is this the way that everybody dreamed of when they went to bed at night, thinking how we could have school choice? maybe not. For some, it didn't go far enough. For others, it's going too far. But I think all in all, again, with we had President Trump's tweet up there. Yeah, this is what they've been. This is what we've been trying to fight for a long time in this state, in terms of not being able to dictate how parents and where parents should be spending the tax dollars that go to fund schools and that go to educate our children. So, well done. What do you expect going forward with this, Brian? I mean, well, I guess we'll just wait, like you said, wait for the announcement of when people can enroll and do that sort of thing.
So it'll be in effect for this year, so that people filing their taxes a year from now for 2025, some families will be able to claim expenses from this year. And so presumably sometime very soon, there's going to be something through the tax commission where you can check and see if you will be eligible, because, obviously you don't want to go pay for, say, a private school if it's outside of your budget, expecting something in return and
Right.
then not getting it. That would be unfortunate. So families will know beforehand if they will be eligible. And of course, going forward, the bill does have some measures of uh, measuring data. How many people are applying? How many people applied but weren't accepted because we've reached the cap? The survey that parents are going to have to do to say whether they are satisfied with the program. So the legislature next year will have that data and decide if it should continue, if it should be expanded, or what.
Yeah, very good. Okay, well, yeah, good news. And yeah, again, not a perfect bill, as has been stated in some of the comments, but it's a start. And I think when you think of bills like this, and you think of like states like Arizona that started down this road many years ago, to eventually get to the point where they have an open wide education savings account program. And there's critics, that say that it's doing harm to the public schools, but at the same time, it's a very popular program, and parents and families are using it, which is a good thing. So I just, yeah, I'm excited to see where this heads, and folks, if you don't want to see this thing sunset and you want to see it expand, you have to stay engaged. You have to stay engaged. You have to commend those who fought for this and get behind them, and really elect good people that can keep this in our statutes and potentially expand it to make it more universal. Because it's not necessarily universal right now. I would still argue, but it's out there. So very good.
It's also a demonstration of what it takes to actually get legislation passed in this building. You go you move it a little further this way and you lose the people over here. You move it a little further this way, you lose the people over there. It's a very much a matter of negotiation and compromise and walking a very fine line. Representative Foreman, Senator Hartog, and the other sponsors, and everyone involved in making this bill, they had to give concessions a little bit here, a little bit there, just to get it through that very narrow gate. And this year they succeeded.
Yeah, absolutely.